Hey, everybody. Maine has had a rash of crazy come through. Now, we did the Graham Plattner, which honestly, he's not even the craziest. Of all of them, he was the sanest. He's just an angry guy whom they definitely had to get rid of because he probably would have been the death nail of the corruption and at the same time implementing socialist policies. And then right after Graham Plattner, they had another one come through that was going to be their front runner. And it's this guy wearing the muumuu. I kid you not, it wasn't like it was a one-day thing where he was like the front runner for just a little bit. There was quite a bit of time going by before they realized, well, let's go with the guy who married his cousin and had children. I am really starting to think that everything they blamed on us Southerners was actually projection, and we should all take pride in our Southern morality. So prior to him being dethroned as the Democratic frontrunner in the state of Maine, he did like this little interview with this lady. I'm assuming she's part of the chicken cult, which is actually, now that I have chickens, an insult. Now, this is cut up pretty bad because it's just snippets from the interview. But it's another teaching moment of literally how this guy is. And all of them that are like it. I know some of you are just like, oh my gosh, but let's just watch. Just watch.
You have mentioned you're intersex. How did that end up coming about? How did you find all this out?
So here we go. You mentioned you're intersex. How did you find this out? She's actually pretty good as an interviewer. Definitely got some beliefs I don't agree with, but she's pretty good. And as she's asking this question, he goes to the doing part of his brain. You'll also notice a few things that just go to the personality. He's a mouth breather. There's a reason why that is a negative when you apply that to someone. You're a mouth breather. There is some kind of brain damage going on in the head. Not only that, his eyes are extended out. You see the depth of field between the socket in his little eyeball. So we've got the mouth breather thing. And why do we say brain damage? Probably sleep apnea goes with this. Lack of oxygen to the brain. Over time, you get brain damage. And then you get a mouth breather and other medical issues that are going on with him. Has he had it his whole life? I don't know. I don't know his medical history. We're just going by what we see right now. Obviously, he's wearing a muumuu and he is huge. The fact that he went to doing means that he has done something to himself so that he can claim womanhood.
Through medical records that don't add up. And my birth records.
Okay, wait.
And medical records that don't add up. And my birth records.
Through medical records that don't add up, and we go to Ram, and through his birth records. And I was like, and he goes away from that. So there's two distinction there. Medical records and then the birth records. Now, the problem with this kind of video, with him anyways, is it looks like, because he gives eye contact on...
Through medical records that don't add up. And my birth records.
I had to watch that again. Anyways, he's given eye contact at this angle. So the camera is set up below and away from him, but he's looking at a screen in the opposite direction. So he is aware of the camera, but is not holding his gaze, because when you have this kind of damage in the brain that we have here, the screen, no matter what, is going to take the attention. He likes looking at himself. And most people do in general. It's not exclusive to the brain damaged, but they tend to not ever look at the person that is actually talking to them.
Okay, wait, birth records?
Yep.
Birth records, and you see that little twirl in the eyes. Yeah. And I was like, that's his quote-unquote trump card. I've got the birth records. Now, we're not going to watch any more of that part. It's kind of boring, and it goes really nowhere. But basically, the birth records, for those of you that are just so curious, the administrator signed off on his birth certificate, and that's unusual.
Can you explain that further? I don't want
So,
to...
when I was born, the hospital admin for the medical records signed off on the birth record. And they filed it, I'm pretty certain, a little bit over 30 days past my birth.
Oh, wow.
And then what they told my mother was
Here's the other clue. She sits there and says, "Oh, wow." And he smiles on it. That literally is duping delight. We don't see too many of them. I think there's only been one other time that I've been like, yeah, that's dupers. This is one of them. She gave the verbal of, oh, wow, meaning she bought it. She's buying the story, not necessarily that one part, but she is engaged in buying the story. And because she said that, he got a quick smile on his face and then he moved on. They are dumb, but they are not so dumb. I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't help some of the jokes that come out of my mouth.
Supposedly ran out of birth forms. Now, when I reached out to the town clerk of where I was born, I
Yeah.
specifically asked him, "Oh, how many other birth certificates did this admin sign?" Turns out mine was the only one.
Oh, okay. Well, what was the
We're also seeing a lot of stiffness, but he's so large and morbidly obese that it is actually kind of hard to sit there and see if the fat is just blocking the view of the pole in the back or if he really is that stiff.
I mean, why was there an issue? What happened? I guess I'm unsure what
Exactly. That's
happened.
the issue that I'm running into is because, well,
Mm.
unfortunately, they only retained birth records for 20 years and mine got destroyed. So now I'm
Oh.
not going to get an answer as to why they did that. But
Oh gosh.
and the only reason why I started digging into it was because I had a blood test drawn and my estrogen was like 285 pgml, and
Okay.
that's with no hormones, just my own production.
Okay.
So he starts twirling around on that, how much hormones he had, which makes me sit there and think that there's something there. We don't quite know what it is. It could be he was taking estrogen, something he should not have been taking. And it was quote unquote illegal because it was bad prescriptions or wherever he was getting it. But there's something there. I have no idea.
That's significant. Okay. So how did you end up going to get like an estrogen level taken?
Where I was experiencing hot flashes, and I asked the doctor to
Oh
run
gosh.
an estrogen test, and I guess they don't do that for.
You-
It's so crazy. I guess they don't do that. But this is our dive into what crazy looks like. They know because their body betrays them. That's why we see the stiffness. That's why we see the wiggling around in the chair. They know what they're doing. But the drive for whatever is feeding this mechanic in his brain to want to be trans overrides just being a normal human being. It could be, because we don't know anything about this guy, it could be attention seeking. It could be depression. It could be a myriad of things. We have no idea because crazy doesn't come with a manual. It comes with a set of symptoms, which is also why society does not like things outside of the norm. It's a protective stance. It says there's something wrong with this individual. We need to ostracize it. So now that we see this guy, we understand why the natural instinct is to ostracize this kind of behavior. Well, that's enough of crazy today. Remember to like, subscribe, ding the bell. This is my main channel. May the Lord bless you and keep you. In Jesus' name.